What made you ghost a friend? That realization that you're the one initiating all the interactions with them, and when you stop, they don't notice. Every conversation was about them and their lives. They rarely asked or were interested in what I had going on. The selfishness was just too much after a while. When I realized a lot of the things that made her laugh were at my expense, she thrived off of humiliating me. Her fiancé was arrested and did jail time for possession of child pornography. When he got out, she married him and talked about how excited she was to have children with him. When I've realized she was maybe my best friend, but I was not her. In fact, I was only useful to her. Every time when there is a girl involved, this dude turns into the cringiest being there is. Try harding so much to get laid. In a group chat, when two girls were talking about what to wear for their girls' night out, he started bringing up panties, bras and whatnot. I left that group, started a new one with everyone from the old group except him. She burned the bridge. For most of the year and a half that she and I started working at the same place, she bullied me, micromanaged me, made me feel left out, and gaslight me whenever I tried to confront her behavior. It was almost always my fault. Nothing I ever did was right. And she refused to believe that she has control issues or that she was using me as a punching bag. She started doing this thing where she wouldn't text me unless I texted her first, and then get mad if I didn't text her. So, once she quit the job, I stopped texting her. I haven't spoken to her at all since August 2019, and I don't regret it. When I realized she liked hating things more than liking them. I hate beer, hate EDM, hate Marvel, hate Channing Tatum, hate football. These are all things she's said. It's okay that we don't enjoy the same things, but she'd go out of her way to let me know she hated something and rarely talked about what she liked. This happened with multiple people. They tried to tell me I was too sad and depressing not even a month after watching my dad die, and that I should just pretend it didn't happen when I'm around them. I called them out for the trash they are and said if they ever show their face around me again I'd fight them. She started hanging out with a new friend. That's fine. I'm not her only friend. Then while we were hanging out, as pre-planned, she would leave to go hang out with her new friend. Then she'd break plans with me to hang out with her, all while tagging her on Facebook so none of it was being hidden. 3 years later she reaches out to me and apologizes. It's genuine, as she mentioned insightful things she would have no way of knowing unless she had grown and been very honest with herself. We are friends for another 2 years when she starts to hang out with another new friend. Repeat. I have a friend who I probably should have stopped talking to long before I did, but his escapades include slept with my ex of 3 years a week or so after we broke up, got really handsy with my sister, against her will, at my 21st, just being a general creep to girls for a long time. Getting ditched every time there's a new guy on the scene but been expected to be there the second it all breaks down. The fact she wasn't putting effort in our friendship and just texted if she needed something, and she always made me feel like I am not welcome and wanted. So, nope. Thanks. Whenever I would talk about feeling stressed and my mental health not being in an optimal condition, she would say something along the lines of, "Oh, come on. You don't have actual problems. There are people out there that actually have depression, anxiety, etc." She always downplayed the struggles I would be going through just because it wasn't the worst possible thing that could happen. Too much drama. Told a sob story in order to garner sympathy points. Story didn't check out and no one believed her, so she got even more angry about it. Decided to book it because her stories and blame games were getting too much for me. He became obsessed with me, telling me he loved me and things in front of my friends, basically acting as if I was his girlfriend. Became super angry and jealous whenever I talked to my other friends, guys. Told me that when I visited him, he was in the US, I'm in Canada, I would have to sleep in his bed. After I made it very clear we were not nor ever will be a thing, He then started reaching out to my friends to get them to convince me to talk to him again. They told him to shove it after they found out why I ghosted him. It's been a few months now. I haven't regretted the decision. An ex-friend of mine was gay and developed a huge crush on me, but couldn't take a hint no matter what I tried. When I told it to their face that I wasn't gay so I couldn't be interested in them, they took it badly and replied with, "I only think you're gay because everyone else does." Which made me paranoid about what other people thought of me, because even though there's nothing wrong with being gay, there's nothing more awkward than people thinking you're gay when you're not. I was still prepared to forgive him until he set me up for failure with my crush at the time as some kind of twisted revenge addict. She had a negative experiences with a lot of things to the point that talking to her was like walking on eggshells. I hope she's doing alright and I feel bad I stopped talking to her, but I had to choose what was better for me. When you realize that they're never really there for you and your friendship only breeds passive aggressiveness and envy. It was when I lost a job I had a couple of years ago and she didn't say she was sorry to hear that or ask if I was okay or anything. She ghosted me for a week, and then when I heard from her, she said, "Now that I have this wonderful life, I guess you don't need me." I hardly had a wonderful life. I had lost my job and health insurance and didn't know what I was going to do. But she assumed things were great because I had marked on Facebook that I was going to some activities, which had been planned before the job loss. I realized this was not a friend and how incredibly selfish she was. We were good friends in high school and he started getting into drugs. At first it was just weed and alcohol, but then he started hanging out with people that I wasn't quite comfortable with. So I transitioned to a new set of friends and so did he. Fast forward a year or so and we bump into each other at a college party and he's telling me these stories of being ripped on coke and pills and etc., and I realized that he was putting his life into drugs. A few years later he's arrested for armed robbery for cash and pills. And then when he got out of jail he OD'd and now he's gone. Maybe I could have helped, but now I'll never know. We were hanging out having a great time and he said, "I always forget how fun you are." Suddenly it occurred to me and I said, "It's like you forget I exist unless I'm right in front of you." He laughed and agreed, thinking I was joking or something. But it was very real. Unfortunately I stuck around for a few more months. But this was definitely the tipping point. Otherwise for most of my friends, it's just the same as what other people have said. I shouldn't have to do the relationship maintenance all by myself 100% of the time. Her 2-year-old was violent toward my 2-year-old. She thought it was normal and refused to correct his behavior. I was really good friends with this girl in 5th grade, or so I thought. When we first met we got along really well, but I started noticing after 2 years that she would go hang out with me when I was with my guy friends. Pretend that she was there to hang out with me. Push me to the side. And flirt with my guy friends. Now, obviously I could tell that her actions made my guy friends uncomfortable. So I confronted her about it. And she just said in front of my guy friends, "I don't know you. Why are you here?" After that, I stopped inviting her to hang out and she pleaded for forgiveness, but I just ignored her. Didn't listen to facts. Wouldn't help young son who obviously needed help. I just couldn't watch anymore. I was disinvited from his wedding, in which I was a groomsman, because he found out I wasn't a Christian. We'd been friends for a decade up until that point. I was the person who got ghosted from my best friend. I literally have no idea why it happened. We lived together and she didn't even wish me a happy birthday despite being friends since 9th grade. We graduated college and she hasn't spoken to me since.